Who's your worker?
Roland.
What's his last name?
Beware.
No. Okay, yep.
I can see it.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I think so. Are you still gonna sign it online? Signed online or did they just, I will sign it online?
Is this the new one? Oh,
Just as
you
long
gave
as
us
they,
the old one?
Yeah.
just as long as there's something in the minutes saying that you guys are.
Did anything change?
No.
Thank you.
All right, we'll call the commissioner meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Please.
Yes.
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Minutes from our last meeting.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Claims?
I'll make a motion, we approve the claims.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? BSO report. I don't see a BSO here. Health Department?
We have nothing at this time.
You have what?
Nothing.
Wow. How's everything going? Everything with all the new employees going good?
Yeah, everything's.
Good deal.
All right, so.
All right. Sheriff's Department.
Things are quiet over there. We're in the process of hiring new deputies, so we're in the middle of that process. And then we have another one that's gonna start next week for us, that's already trained. Things are good.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Highway Department.
I'm gonna let Gina do the talking on this one.
Okay.
Well, I have a supplemental for the 100 East project, for phase 2 for SJCA. I have 3 copies here. I don't know if you want to sign all 3 copies or just want to sign one. It's for an additional $12,000 for culverts that we had to tweak. So,
Need a motion for that? I would like a motion for that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that I've already signed, and we should, everybody should sign.
you want to go ahead and just keep
All those in
signing?
favor?
That way Melissa has a
Aye.
copy and
Aye.
I can give Tara a copy.
And to clarify, when we had the preliminary field check meeting, and they went out, looked at everything, while they were out looking, these 2 culverts were gonna be replaced in time, but while they were out on site looking and talking with Dale, there was plenty of cover there, so they just decided why not upsize them, and to do that, you have to run hydraulics, and so that 12,000 is just to cover that hydraulics.
Okay, thank you. And that's all I have for that. So then we have the bid opening for Bridge 42.
All right.
I don't know if Dale's gonna do that or.
I will say that the concrete for the fire training center is all been taken care of, and then we've done most of the parking lot. We have to put some rock on it, of course, the rest of it, but everything's been pretty well rolled out.
Thank you.
And
I was
just
gonna bring
asked-
that up under the old business.
Gotcha.
But I wanna thank the highway department for helping, prepare the area for the pool. And I was also gonna mention that Cash Wagner helped navigate the construction, so that was a huge help for the project. So thank you, Gail, for bringing that up.
Are you gonna be here the rest of the meeting?
Uh,
If you're not, will you tell us, so you hauled some sand, right?
Yeah,
Will
we
you tell us
say,
about
yeah,
where
we hauled
that-
some to Grandview, and then, I hauled a load, cause I've been
Sorry,
working
I'm
with
just
Stephanie
writing in
DNA.
April 1st.
And hauled a load to the shop, county garage, and she was gonna put something on Facebook about that, and then I think,
And you're
Would
referring
you
to
keep that,
the
and then that way you
folks
have
that
a
want
copy?
to bag
And then-
sand.
sandbag, yes,
And
ma'am.
That way the public knows where, why, we're on sale.
And where's it at in Grandview?
Over at the fire station.
Two other things.
And then at the county garage up on the hill there by the animal shelter.
Okay.
And I might bring another load or two tomorrow, just depends, just to have it.
It's just my copies, so I
She was
can
gonna check
get
with,
her one,
Scott
get
Jackson
her
out
ones,
in Rio,
and then I have
and I don't know
one
for sure if she talked to
and I
him
send
or
her
not.
copies, but-
Okay.
But we're trying to get as much done as we can, trying to get ahead of things with what we got coming, the dead end off of 545, 1350, we always have problems with. I've got the guys taking 2 loads of rock up there in case that bridge washes out, that way it's there, that way we have something. So I just ask everybody to be vigilant, because it sounds like it's gonna get pretty rough.
Do we have any other areas that are concerns like we had a month ago? Or are those?
2100, I'm gonna actually have a load taken there too in the morning, before things get going, that way at least we have it there.
Oh, so then we'll just prepare it in case it
In
happens.
case,
And then as far as our signage for the water, you've got road closed signs
Yes,
there, there you
yes, we're
go.
gonna put road closed up to the high water, so nobody drives out in the middle of it.
So do we wanna, reiterate the, ordinance that we signed,
Yeah, I mean,
just
if
so
the
the
road,
public
if
is
it says,
aware?
if it says road is closed, it is closed, and there are penalties for violating that, both in and of itself of passing the sign, but also to the extent you get stuck, you will be responsible for the costs of rescuing you and the vehicle and any property, so,
So there's a fine established with that
Yeah.
ordinance.
yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right. Anything else? Go ahead.
Thank you, Dale.
Okay, bid opening for bridges then.
Okay, we've got 3. The first, this is for Spencer County Project number 2025-B1, which concerns Spencer County Bridge number 42, which is on County Road 200 North over Baker Creek. The first one is for, is from CLR Inc. out of Vincennes. Okay, their base bid for this work comes to $337,157.50.
Repeat that.
337,157.50. The second one is from E&H Bridge and Grading.
My bid has no construction in it, so it's gonna be different, but I explained that to,
Is this one yours?
so it's not, you can do what you want to do. Our contractor backed out at the last minute because of wording in the package.
Okay, as just noted, this does not appear to include construction. And so this bid without construction totals $72,745. And I don't believe I've seen a request for proposal, so I don't know what kind of bids are permitted or not based on that, but this is what it is. Next, final one is from Dirkholz out of Huntingburg. And I'm sorry, yeah, I said that the previous one I just read was E&H Bridge and Grading. And the third and final one, like I said, is Dirkholt Excavating Construction, Inc. out of Huntingburg. looks like their total bid comes to $273,740. 237,740.
All right, Deb, you want to take these bids under advisement?
Yes, please.
I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to take them under advisement.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
All right, second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right. Anything else, Dale?
Are you gonna do that today, or are you gonna take it with you and then?
I might take it with me and look at it,
Then we'll award it in
and
the
then
next.
award it at another meeting. If
Okay.
we do that. If that's okay with you all.
Perfect.
Anything else, Dale? On
That's
highway?
all that we have.
Okay. Legal report.
Okay, I guess I'll start off by, I was gonna do the reminder on the road closures, did that. We have the credit card ordinance, which I circulated to you all, that's ordinance number 2025-02. I unfortunately did not bring printed copies, but I think you provided everybody with them, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we did email them, obviously, but I did send some more. So I don't know if you guys want to discuss that further. I know Mac did quite a bit of research and outreach. He did his homework on that with department heads.
Yeah, I mean, overwhelmingly, it was in favor. I think almost every single department was in favor. I think just something that we have to decide is internally, how does that operate? Do we need to choose a specific institution that way everything is kind of housed under one umbrella? I mean, and I guess, because one of the concerns was about the payment, because we obviously don't want to carry over interest. Do you see anything on your end that would cause issues, not necessarily in ordinance, but internally in application?
I don't think so. We'll have to get into it and see what we come across.
I like the wording. I think it's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory.
So you're comfortable with it as far as getting payment and all
Yeah,
that?
like him, I like the language in it. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of,
And I have just a short little guide that we could review too, that we put out to just reminders like, hey, make sure you have your tax exempt form. Make sure, this is the purpose. Last discussion was the travel policy, what I was about to say per diem. It's not per diem. The $30 for food, or, although those still apply, this is just extra to help reduce any type of financial stress that might be on.
making sure they're turning in all the receipts.
Yep. Yeah, so I think it's good. I just want to make sure that we're solid in application before we start rolling, because
So
that would be a ball of yarn to undo if it gets away from us.
Our next step would be, what are we going with? What card are we going with? Are we going with one of the local bank cards? Are we going with, what are we gonna go with? Is that something else we?
I guess that's
need to dig
something we
into?
should, maybe we should reach
Check
out to these
interest rates and
institutions.
everything
Have you
else.
seen, how do other counties or municipalities go about it?
Different, I mean, some people just have a local bank they're always working with, and others will actually seek proposals, but there's no need to do that necessarily for this type of service. So, if you feel like you know what direction you want to go in, you
I mean, I would think that we would just go with whomever our local bank is.
I see our treasurer sitting back there. I was getting ready to ask her opinion. I mean, does that streamline anything, since most of our accounts are through Freedom? Does it make sense that we
Go through
are their
Freedom?
partner in this?
Yeah, it would.
Would you care to get with Freedom to see what kind of an account that they would offer for this credit card? And, if there is, you pay the bill before it's are on its due date or before, there isn't gonna be an interest. So we don't wanna have that. Right?
I could do that, I mean, because she's only just seeing the ordinance quickly, I could get with Renee
Yeah,
and
get
check
that.
on that.
So he took that, Elaine, so there's,
All right, so is that something we need a motion to
Yeah.
approve right now?
Yep.
I will ask for a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion, we approve the ordinance for the credit card.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you very much.
Okay, I circulated, we last meeting, we talked about some changes to the Switzer County Economic Development Authority. I sent those to you guys. Might make sense to schedule a I also couldn't find my notes, did not, I confess, go back and look at the minutes or video, but did we already schedule our next meeting for that at the next meeting before or after?
We did not, it's not to my knowledge.
And I don't know if there's a lot of business, but whenever the next one is, it would be good to approve those changes to the bylaws that you guys discussed
I mean, we could go ahead and schedule it,
prior to the next meeting.
yeah.
What time?
The next one we have is, we could do it 2:30 because we don't have
Yeah.
anything before,
Yeah,
Okay,
right?
2:30?
2:30 for the next, Spencer County Economic Development Authority meeting.
Okay.
Since we're scheduling meetings to the agenda, which that's not technically on the agenda, right?
right, that is
That's
not,
just a-
because that is a nonprofit, so,
I would like to ask that we schedule the redevelopment meeting for 4 o'clock after the commissioners meeting on April 15th. We do have some CDs that are coming up May. And then
Yes.
we can just regroup with the board.
All right.
All right, so, authority at 2:30, redevelopment at 4 o'clock, commissioner at 3.
Correct.
Now, for the CDs, we will be getting bids from,
Yeah, and I've already reached out to 3 of the banks and I've got their current rates, but they just said when we get closer to that maturity date, check back in and make sure that it hasn't.
sounds like a plan.
They're all, I've got them, I'll send them.
Dale?
Yeah, and that day, we have the community crossings pavement project be bid out.
And open.
And open. So I was gonna see about, with all those roads, I think there's 37 of them. It's gonna take a while to go through them.
So can we be at 3,
If that's
if
okay.
at all possible? Yes,
You mean
it's-
to like start the agenda? Is that what you're asking?
Yes,
Okay.
so can we be first on the agenda?
And
Because
that way
we
you
have
have
to go
time.
back
Yes.
to the back and add them all up to make sure that everything's good, and it's gonna take a while,
So you want us to open the bids first?
please.
If we can.
Yes, if we can. I mean, at the very beginning of it, so that we have time to go back and look it up. That way everybody's not waiting on us, and they may still be at the end of the meeting.
We got that handled.
Thank you.
okay. That's it for me.
All right, old business? We do have a lot of new business. Sylvia, on the grant here?
Yes, we're requesting approval from the commissioners to apply for the work release facilitator grant, and that would be in 2026. It would be 10 hours a week at $20 an hour. But I believe you all have copies of the budget and everything. It would actually allow someone to be able to actually do the legwork, if you will, of seeing what we need to do to then everything needs to be in place and to find an actual location to progress a work release or to expand it. The jail currently, I think they have their maximum, and Sherry's here, she's the president of the advisory board. I think their maximum is 82 that they can actually house, and they have 2 male beds that are only available for the work release program. So I think if we could expand the programming and actually have a facility where we can offer men and women. And I think that it would be beneficial to our county and to community corrections. And it is an IDOC grant, it would come under the Community Corrections Advisory Board, just like our other grants do. So I'm requesting that approval, and I don't know, Mr. Seiler, if you have that letter or not.
All right, I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve community corrections grant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next up, American Legal invoice.
You'll see, I actually got that second invoice, you were okay with that second invoice? Okay, the reason why I'm putting it in here is we started this, paying this out of that CARES money, and since we still have money in it, I'd like to, I'm seeking approval to pay both of these invoices out of that.
All right, as long as we're legal with,
Yeah, and this is a little higher because previously the county's zoning code was not really available online or in print. I mean, it was an ordinance that you had to hunt down and happen to have it. So that has been codified, that they are codifying it, putting it online, making it available, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why one of these is a little higher than the other. Normally, these kind of costs are more de minimis.
all right. So I'll ask for a motion to accept to pay the invoice out of
I'll make a motion.
CARES Act. All right, we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Can you go invoice?
This is an invoice that we asked a company to help with our web services. I mean, this is not something that will be, it'll be an as-needed service. Right now, this should be less. I mean, I'm sure that Melissa is going to go ahead and update the minutes and the agenda to the website. We just got it up to date and moving forward. So changes are being made. Myself and Mac have been reaching out to some of the different departments on our website to clean things up. So we'll keep doing that.
I'll make a motion we approve for services rendered.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
All those opposed? Good on that. RJL invoice.
So the next invoice for RJL is our monthly payment for their services. Included in that is the Indiana First dues, which is our ready region that Spencer County is a part of, and there is an annual website fee of $500. Plus, they registered the Spencer County Economic Development with a domain, so that's what the extra fees are on it.
All right. Do we have a motion to accept the fees, the invoice?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
All those opposed? All right. Midwest Telecom on the phones. I believe we have somebody standing up here telling us what we're gonna do.
Yes, please come up front so we
Yeah, I
can
will.
hear it all.
Do you guys have copies of what Heather sent out, or do I need to pass out copies?
Yes.
Okay.
I've got a copy.
I got a copy.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Everybody's got a
Yeah.
copy.
I don't
Okay.
have one.
I got one for you. So I don't know, I mean, some of you have been here for a long time, some of you are new. This is somewhat of an ongoing evolution of a project that involves many things, but the biggest thing is probably, I don't know, I want to say at least 5 years ago, we were kind of told by AT&T that our services, which have been in the county for, I don't know, 25 years or something, that they were going to either raise our price or get rid of it. You know, one of the two. It's called the Centrex service, and it's been around for years. It's basically a home telephone line with features. So that's kind of what we've been running on throughout the whole county. Of course, every time we talked to AT&T and said, hey, when are you gonna raise those rates? Because they were talking about doubling them. They would say, well, it's in 6 months, it's in 6 months. And so what we've been doing over the past 4 years is trying to prepare the county for new technology. I mean, if you look around the county, you've got old telephone wiring hanging out everywhere like this. This is what you put in your house, and that simply wouldn't address any new technology. If you look around, we've been putting in conduit that goes down to the basement. And that's sort of what the picture on the front is doing, is just saying, hey, this is what we've done to prepare for this. So we're at the point where AT&T is saying, most definitely this summer, the rate's going up dramatically. And we're at the doorstep of being done. Of course, the courthouse is in good shape, but as we've looked at other offices, there's still a little bit of tweaking to do throughout the county. You know, you just don't look at the courthouse as obviously it's the sheriff's department, it's the highway department. You know, everybody's involved with this. It's one structure. So what this is basically just telling you, I mean, the first page is what we've done. The second page is more or less like, hey, I want to stay on track with this as you look down the road. And I came up with kind of 3 points of the things to think about. It's not really the phone system, but you know, when we put in new technology, it would be nice to come back at some point and cut out all this old wiring and all the raceway that people had put in that's falling off the walls and the ceilings throughout the building. Is it necessary? No. I mean, you don't have to take it out, but it would be nice to, at some point, look at cleaning the building, if you will. The second point is, you know, the circuit court has a little area that they never really updated the wiring in. Someday it would be nice to look at cleaning that little area up. But the third point, and that's what the last 2 pictures are, is like, I don't want to go backwards. We've done all this work to put in conduit, encase the wiring in a way that it's protected, and yet in the health inspector's office, when they needed a couple outlets, the computer company put in a little switch and ran wire up and over the door, like sort of like we've always done. It's like we're going backwards, you know. And so I guess what I'm asking for is you guys, I mean, if you love the building as much as I do, because I've worked in this building for a lot of years, you know, we tell people, no, they can't do that crap. You know, it's a historic building, you know, do it right. You know, it's just a little pet peeve of mine, because I put a lot of sweat into the attics and the basements of this building. Honestly, not why I'm here today. I just wanted to lead in. So what you've got on the page 3, you'll see, I mean, a Centrex line comes in the county office and it hooks to an analog single line telephone, a lot like that. It looks like a fancy telephone, but it's really your home telephone. And that's what these people have been using in all these offices all the years, and it's very cumbersome. If they get a call, it's not for their department, they have to say, hey, hang up and call back that other department, or they have to transfer it, and that is actually hitting the hook switch or a flash key, and it's basically not a phone system. So what's happened is some of the departments have said, well, I've got some money, the health department, for example, I'm going to put in my own little telephone system. Well, that's great for them, but it really doesn't help the county. And you're still paying the AT&T bill, but also buying hardware. So it's really like a path to nowhere. So I kind of did an analysis with Heather. I said, well, okay, what are we paying AT&T right now? What's a snapshot?
You mean Melissa?
I'm sorry, Melissa. I was looking at your sign. And what are we paying AT&T right now? And what are the departments all paying on things like maintenance and licensing? And, you know, what does it all look like? And what have we paid for hardware in the past 10 years that we could dig up and know about, right? And if you add all that together and you divide it by 10, we're paying about $3,057 a month. This is just an average of everything that we've been spending money on that we could find. Okay, that's kind of the bottom of page 3. So we took that and we said, okay, well, we know that AT&T's raising their rates. What's our options? Well, page 4, I mean, one option is, yes, we could continue the route of what I call a phone system. So basically it's you have some service comes into the building, there's a server in the building, we'll say in the basement in this case, and then there's phones hooked off of it. Well, you would have to duplicate that for each building, so the sheriff's department, of course, has one, but like community corrections doesn't have one, not all departments here have one, so you see where it perpetuate out. And so we kind of ran some quick numbers on that, and it's not too awful because we're paying $3,057 a month. If you look at it, we came up with that cost over a 5-year period would be about $4,200 a month. You know, you would have a capital expenditure up front for a phone system. The problem with that model is it's outdated essentially the day you buy it. It's like a cell phone. You know, you buy a cell phone and they tell you the next year they've replaced the cell phone. And so today's technology, when you buy that laptop or whatever you're buying, I mean, it can be upgraded to a degree, but not really upgraded. And that's why Microsoft and many companies have gone to a subscription service, so you don't have the hardware expenditure. So basically think of Centrex like you have right now, but the new generation of Centrex. And so we said, well, what's that look like as a transition? If we take, because it eliminates the AT&T bill so it doesn't go up on us, you know, it moves it to basically another service, AT&T service to another service. So what does that look like? Well, that's on the next page. If you're, well, actually there's an explanation of the service, but if you go to the next page where it breaks it down, it says countywide hosted telephone service. So anyway, the subscription of that service, like right now, you know, you're technically at $1,800 plus your maintenance that you're paying. But the subscription side of that would be $4,000. So essentially what happens is the whole county moves from AT&T service to a different service. That different service, of course, is now more like a phone system. I mean, you can put a call on hold, you can intercom any department, literally any department. So if I'm in this building and I want to intercom the sheriff, I can intercom the sheriff. I mean, you're all one family. And technically in Centrex, you could kind of do that if you knew how to do it, but nobody knows how to do it because it's not on a button, it's not obvious, there's no display. Now, obviously, you know, there is some implementation cost. One is the telephone handsets themselves. Heather's got one on her desk. Actually, right now she's using one. So the handsets, they give you a credit towards the handsets, but you still owe the remainder of that, and the handsets are $14,500. That's what that's saying right there. That's basically your handsets. And then there's an implementation, which is basically where Midwest Telecom comes in. It has to be programmed, it has to be trained. You basically have to do all the setup. That's the next number. The last number is, and you'll see it's listed down there, is hardware that the remote offices don't have. I mean, it's hardware that we've been doing here, but the remote offices don't have to support new technology. So, like when you go to community corrections, you know, they have, I don't know, it's very old. You know, they don't have a network switch to handle new technology because everything now runs over the network. And I could go into more detail, but I'm trying to keep it very...
Gina, can you wait a second? Because didn't we just change your phone system?
Well, yes, we bought phones about 5 years ago.
Right.
And we switched to NewSo about 6 months ago,
Right.
something like that.
Is that your
So,
system?
Yes,
Is that the
it's
system
ours,
that-
yeah.
No, are you talking about NewSo though? Or is this
Yeah.
gonna be something new for the highway department that we have to buy something new again?
NewSo would go away, just like AT&T would go away. Okay, so all of it would be rolled into a single service, right? Now, the handsets, yes, everybody gets a new handset. So the health department system is 5 years old.
Can I make a recommendation?
Yep.
So, I think that maybe this is something that we should maybe schedule a time, like, where you can explain these things.
I think it's an excellent idea.
Because
it's hard here,
It is very hard in
Yeah.
a commissioners meeting, and,
but it's gotta be introduced somehow.
no, I
Right.
get it.
What is the work that you guys have been doing in the basement? How's that different? Is that just for internet or?
Both. So everything
So,
that we,
but that, what you've done in the basement, now we're having to replicate that on every single floor, or how's that?
no, that's done now.
Right,
So-
so how's that a benefit to us?
Okay,
like,
so the old telephones run off of a phone wire like you would find in your house.
Right.
Right? The new phone, any new technology of phones, runs over network cabling. The same cabling that your computer runs over. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
all network
same
cabling?
cable, yes.
Okay.
So same cabling the computer runs over, the phone runs over. And what had happened is, I love to email you pictures, is they kind of cabbage patched internet together in the computers. So, yes, they kind of coincide with each other. We wanted to make the computers faster and more reliable for everybody, but we wanted to set it up for phones, and they all use the same technology. So if we would have tried to put the phones on the cabbage patch network that they had here, any phone would have failed, right? Plus, what we're really looking to do is increase the internet speeds for the courthouse, which we're working
Well,
on.
we're also looking to minimize the cost of
Right.
our current bill with AT&T,
Right.
which would tremendously minimize those costs by using the analog system. Correct?
Well, the AT&T bill, I don't know exactly what they quoted, Melissa, but it was going.
I guess when I'm just making a recommendation, this is something that I think we commissioners need to look into. I think we need a more, sit-down setting that we can understand, and then we can bring that information back to a commissioners meeting to make a decision. That's just my recommendation.
I think we need, I hate to say we need an hour, but we need time to educate you. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts that have been going on for 4 years, let's say, or 5 years, a lot of moving parts. And I'm trying to cram it into 20 minutes.
Right,
You
or
know,
10.
No, I
So
agree with that.
basically, before our next meeting, I think we have a
It's at 2:30.
2:30, so would say a 1:30
Sounds
meeting
good.
with you
Uh,
on April
15.
15th.
Are you available on April 15th?
Well, let's just look.
Okay.
That's the nice thing about calendars on your phones. Yes, April 15th.
So let's say 1:30, you can meet here with the
There you go.
3 commissioners. And then we can bring this, we have all of this, which is great for us to review between now and next meeting. If we have any questions about our AT&T bill, we can ask Melissa. And then each of us do our homework and come back to the table, if that works for you.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, it's one of the things where rarely do you have an opportunity to move on something before it becomes critical. I mean, of course, I would say the technology is kind of critical, but I'm saying from a dollar standpoint, because if typically what happens is you get a higher bill, and then people say, "Oh, well, my gosh, why'd the bill go up? Let's do something." So,
Yeah.
and so what we're trying to do is say, "Hey, we know this is happening. We've known it was happening for a long time now." They put their foot down and said, "Yeah, this is it." So,
Melissa, what kind of percentage increase has AT&T kind of thrown out there?
They have not said specifically.
Just said,
Yeah.
get ready?
At least doubled.
No.
The thing of it is though, with this new system, I do know that we can minimize the number of phone lines that we currently are paying for because this new analog system will join them all together and you don't have to have 50 different phone numbers that we're paying through AT&T.
All right.
It's completely different. What you do now is you pay per, every time, everybody has to have a number, and so you pay by the number, and your capacity is that number. So if I'm on the phone, I'm busy unless I manually roll it to you, right? Well, that's not how new technology works. In the new technology, yes, you have a phone number, you don't lose your phone number, But if I'm on the phone, well, let's say Melissa's on the phone and she's waiting for a call from me, and I dial her direct number, she'll see it coming in. She can put that call on hold and take that call. It's not a one in, one out equation.
So I think these are the kind of things that we'll need you to explain to us at 1:30 on
Right.
the 15th.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds like a plan.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, our DMV agreement, Elaine?
The Indiana Bureau of Motor Vehicles data use agreement is expiring for me, and that's where I use it for moving permits and title transfer of mobile homes. So I talked to Josh about it, and he said that probably be good to bring it before the commissioners, let you do something in the.
So is this something we only update every 4 years?
Every 4 years.
Okay. And I make a motion that we approve
We got a
the
motion on the table, do we have a second?
grant.
Second.
We have a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Thanks, Elaine.
Thanks.
This is not on new business, but we talked about it before, so it's a combo, so it's our cyber policy up for renewal. Oh, is that
Yeah.
already, you already got that? Cyber policy's up for renewal, and it's tied to our PSEI email, because one is dependent on the other. And so Chris is here. I've talked to her a little bit about the cyber policy, and basically all of our emails that are housed with PSEI, they don't have the capacity to do two-factor or multi-factor authorization, and so it needs to be housed with an indiana.gov email. It's a little bit safer, an extra layer of protection so that somebody's mammon doesn't get scammed when it says, Mac Webb, Spencer County Commissioner needs your banking information. Or they say, one of our vendors, they send them a bill that looks legit, looks like it's from Melissa, and it's not, and then they get scammed. And so, so the first part is the transition from PSEI to the Indiana.gov. There would be a transition time of about a year with those forward to the new email system, or to their new email. We already pay $100 a month $100 a year per account for Microsoft, which is separate from the email right now. The new system, it would be $150 per account per year, but that includes the full business suite. That's the Teams, that's all business apps, and that also includes email.
So instead of us paying $100, we're paying $150.
Paying $150.
And
I don't-
eliminating PSC.
Yes. And I don't know if do we pay for PS, I don't know how much we pay for PSC right
I
now.
don't know how much we pay either, but I do know we paid it.
Basically, it could end up being a wash, but then I start looking, we have about 49 accounts that would get transitioned. But you know, now's a good time to go through those and see if we're using all of them, if we need all of them. You know, we might have somebody's on here that, like we have the highway engineer. I don't think we need that email anymore, so that's an account that saves a little bit. But if we do that, then we can renew our cyber policy, because underwriters say, hey, you have to have a higher level of protection than what you currently have, otherwise you're asking for it. So, is there anything, Chris, you want to add to that?
Just briefly, I think one additional point. Remember that I had back on March 19th, it's been a minute, I had a security and ThinkGuard webinar that focused on criminal justice information. And this affects our jail, it affects our police departments. But effective October 1st of 2024, the FBI Criminal Justice Information Act began requiring MFA for all systems accessing criminal justice information. So it is mandatory. Previously, it was only required for remote or non-secure access. However, it is mandatory across the board now for our jails, law enforcement, and our courts to have this in place. This was done nationwide because it does align with the best practices in cybersecurity, as they have recognized that governmental entities are prime targets. They also have researched and shown that MFA mitigates up to 99.9% of compromise attempts, which is a huge, huge remedial number. It is essential for municipalities handling sensitive law information, and is a security tool. One thing that Commissioner Webb and I spoke with as well, they say, why prioritize this? It is now mandatory compliance and a required audit risk. Non-compliance with CJIS can result in audit failures, penalties, and potential loss of access to this data. It's proven that it increases cyber threats to governmental entities. It eliminates and reduces malicious or incidental or accidental, intentional or not, internal threats, whether it's sharing of credentials, lack of use, practice, familiarity with the system, and it minimizes response costs in the event of a breach. The number one thing that they recommended to start the process was identifying the systems and users of MFA. They do recommend, in alignment with what you and I had briefly spoken about, was full inventory of all systems, applications, and those that have remote access to the program. That would also enhance your efficiency. Then you will know exactly what your numbers look like that you do need to implement the MFA through. You will know what those costs are. And then you implement that with your existing security controls that you already have in place through your current CFC, who is your cyber provider. They have provided this at no cost internally to Spencer County. That is part of the package that you receive from us. Finally, they said it is very, very important to have training to ensure successful implementations, and also it minimizes resistance. So this is one of the best articles that I have seen, and it is directly applicable. I made a copy of this. I asked them to send this to me from the webinar today, so I apologize I didn't have this
I
prior
guess
to.
my concern is not the insurance policy that we have for this. It's, you know, what is our cost through our IT, PSC, you know, do we need all of those? I feel like right now we were double doing, and I think that's, you know, I'm good with the policy,
To get the policy, we have to have MFA,
which is through,
which would be through our Microsoft business accounts.
and I'm fine with that. Do you have any concerns since you've been working on this?
No, I mean, and I've talked to Josh with Ecomundi, and so, you know, going through this, he sent us the quote. There's a standard labor for the conversion, and there's an annual based on about $150 a month for the business suite per account. So, you know, his estimate is just an estimate. If we go through here and we find 10 emails that we feel like we no longer need, then those accounts would be removed, and so our yearly costs would be decreased as well. I don't have any concerns. I think it's I think we have to do it. You know, if we want to be covered and make sure that the Russians don't
Why do you think
get
we're
into
gonna
our stuff.
save costs by not having PSC? Not?
We already have most of this, if not all of it, implemented. Our final step is working with Ecomundi on a fob for our dispatch centers. But we already have this in place in all of our CGIS information and accesses, and we have a .gov email.
Do you have the MFA on there? And I think EMA has the same, because I was over there meeting with them about, I wanted a Teams app, but currently we don't have Teams app on our business, but I think you guys do and they do, but it's because they've already been upgraded to the MFA. But for us, we kind of have shadow emails that forward to our .gov, and so it's still not, even though it appears, we got this on YouTube, even though it appears secure, it could still be susceptible because the actual email is not secure and does not have MFA. So I mean, I'm ready to make a motion, and we can separate it. I would make a motion that we accept Mundy's quote on the transition. Before I do that, have you had any issues during your transition, your old emails of PSCI coming over to the new?
When I come in, our emails were through like a GoDaddy, so Mundy was more than happy to get us transitioned to the IN.gov ones.
Okay.
And I know the prosecutor's already on IN.gov as well.
I'll make a motion that we accept Mundy's estimate for the transition and set up the yearly business suite for the
Estimates,
accounts.
or do they have a quote?
He called it an estimate.
So where is
One,
that?
two.
Did he email that to me?
I had emailed it to you, and actually he emailed it, Melissa had emailed it early in March, maybe.
I mean, I realize us doing this, we need to do this to prove your insurance.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I'll make a motion, we approve
We
the,
have a motion,
Well-
do you want to second that?
oh, I'll second it, I'm sorry.
We have a motion, we have a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Anything else, Chris?
I would like to ask that we know or get an update on when this is all complete. And how many were non-used emails, that we were probably paying on that we don't need to pay on.
So I sent it again March 26th, and so it's $115 for labor to transition and $150 annually, and so whatever that account, once we audit our internal audit of the accounts, then, that's what our estimate works out to be.
Is solid waste included on this? This is kind of.
Yes, they are on here.
Okay.
All right, anything else on that?
So
Is that all you need to approve I guess we
we
gotta
gotta
sign,
sign, do we have to make a motion to?
approve her insurance?
Yeah.
I make a
Another
motion. I'll make a motion, we approve the
Second.
cybersecurity
All
insurance.
right, we have a motion, we have a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed?
Also, we have all that to sign today, is that correct? I don't need to sign.
Technically, we already have the cyber, because we were just finishing up the subjectives on the last form that I gave you. It was item number 3 on the subjectives needed to be discussed, and that's what we were doing.
Cyber was giving us an extension
Yes.
and
Got it.
prodding Mundy of, hey, do this or else. So we were nearing the end of our extension
We
before
were
they
right
said.
at the end of our extension.
Got it. Okay,
All right, anything else? Anything else on new business? If not, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
oh, I think,
I didn't know.
I'm sorry.
Sean Scott with WTH, on behalf of Ian, or the 911 board, there's a grant available for you guys to get to the federal mandates right now for the NG 911 addressing its center lines. It is, we do the grant for the county, we submit the grant through the portal, there's no match. It's just meeting their current standards. They just increased from when we got the grant, when you got the grant 2021, I believe it was. Now they've just raised the bar a little bit and come up with some new stuff that they are mandating that be into. So we've already got 25 in the state that we're doing, and now we're working on the counties that already have the NG 911, which we had to do that in order to get the CAD system be compliant. So this is just a move forward in just getting to that current level or exceeding the current standard for the federal and state NG 911 standards.
so it's no cost to the county, we just need an approval.
$7,500 is the word. They approve up to $30,000 because you already have the NG 911. We're not converting, we're not creating, we're not doing anything. All we're doing is, that's how much work it takes for us to get you to the current federal or exceeding standards. That's what it is.
I'll make a motion, we approve the grant.
All right, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed? Thank you. Yeah.
Do you have a business card? I need to get set up on GIS.
And this is just basically an upgrade of all of our 911.
It's, so, just to kind of go in a little bit more, before your addresses used to be 525 North County Road, whatever. Now they've come up with about 30 different things, 30 different features, which is actually in there
Just here.
of what they want. Where the 3 of them are, yeah, that's correct. And this is not changing anybody's addresses. This is not doing anything like that. This is just adding, filling in the blanks. So a lot of times when they first did this, they might have said, well, we don't need you to put in zip code. Let's use that for example. Now they're saying zip code is required. I don't have one on me.
Is it
I'll get you
2 T's or 1 T?
2 T's.
I'll look it up.
Heather's got 2. My, just Sean period Scott at WTH. GIS.com.
That worked out pretty good.
Yes. Good thinking. Is there any questions on anything else we got with the county? Everybody's been doing great, highway's doing great. I have showcased Spencer County at so many state conferences and different programs I do, especially the 911, and we jokingly talk about the, I don't know, the cows there. People go, cows out? Would you have a cows out there? And then when I explain it to them, they're like, that's the coolest thing ever.
I do have a question. So, talking with the surveyor about the cornerstones.
Cornerstones, yes, correct.
There's currently not a way for us to take all of our recorded cornerstones, somehow scan them, I don't know, place them into some type of indicator, upload them, similar to how
Correct.
the highway does with culverts. There's not anything that there is,
Yes.
other than.
And I've talked to,
Okay.
you know, you just gotta keep the same format. So like when you're scanning those in, you know, you scan it in section 22, you name it that. So that way when I click on that button, it brings me up that survey, or that corner card.
Yeah.
However, you've got corners, could be 4 different corners.
Right.
So you got section 23, 24, 18, and 19.
Does
Could be the southeast, the northwest.
Does the reference number
Just
matter at
yeah.
all?
So you can pick which one you need. Because for instance, if you're doing a survey that's in section 22, you know, then you want to click the section 22 and not the section 23 southeast corner. So it's, but yeah, we do that. You can see, we have a lot of counties that have that scanned in, and you can just click on there and you can see that corner card. So, yeah, I've been talking with them about that.
All right,
All right,
anything else? I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion, we have a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
When they don't come out, I already knew about this, but I'm giving you a heads up on what I was going to share today.
About the same thing.
Actually, they're not.
Of course, I shouldn't be
You can't
talking,
remember.